Hi everybody, my name's Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am going to do another sneak peek project for you. I'm going to get to one or two of my favorite retiring sets, but I have my in-person camp next week and I've got all of my retreat cards done and I'm in the process of filming them. I'm about halfway done with those. So the mess, if you could see around me, is substantial. So this card doesn't take a whole lot of things, and I made it earlier at my friend's house, and because it doesn't take a whole lot of other, like I have no blocks hardly at all because we're using 3 different stamp sets at the online retreat, so all of my blocks are taken. So this doesn't take very many stamps of a sneak peek card. So once I get my retreat filmed and I move on to camp, at camp we'll be using, it's a weird year because the January to June mini catalog obviously goes to June, so those are still good, but we have last chance stamps that are leaving, so I'm going to do a couple of my favorites of those. A couple of those projects we will do at my camp, and then we still have the January to June, but because those 3 things are in my retreat, I feel like I'm still using the heck out of those. And then this starts in May. So with this, if you're on my email list, the next email will have my try it class. Everybody keeps emailing me, have I missed registration? Have I missed registration? Because it is likely to fill. And the next email will have registration details for that. I don't know that the link will go up. Maybe, it depends on my retreat. Everything's like converging on me at one time. I do have my catalogs. They will be going out shortly. See what I mean? Everything converging at one time. So hopefully I'll get the catalogs out by Monday. So catalogs are going out, retreats going out, retreats not this weekend, on tour. And we are having a live gathering. It's virtual this year. That's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator thing. So we'll be watching it. A group of local demonstrators are getting together. So we're having a swap with that. And my camp, I got 1,000,001 things. If you need a copy of this and you let me know by Monday and you don't have a demonstrator and you've never purchased from me before, then let me know. If you haven't purchased from me since January, if you have, then you're good. You're on that list. I sent a bunch of you an email. If you hadn't purchased since January, if you've responded, you're good. If you take my classes and you haven't purchased since January and you're not a demonstrator, then let me know. But hopefully these will go out. So, I mean, I feel a little scatterbrained at the moment. So if you need this, let me know. It is fabulous. And I'm going to show you. So I'm going to use, well, first I'll show you this because this is the pansy patch. I think that's what it's called. Pansy patch. This will be my first May class. Registration for it will go up a little bit later in the month of April. And so this is in the catalog. You'll see it when you start getting your catalog and registration. If you get a mailed catalog from me, all of that will be in there. So that's why I have to get it done because there'll be a paper in there that'll have the upcoming events. And I will let you know my summer retreat sets because I know that helps some of you in your planning, whether or not you want to get those on an order or wait for summer retreat. So this is my first May class. The set I'm going to show you now, this already is up. So I used more of this stamps. It's color and contour. So I'm going to use this stamp set, but I'm going to use all of the rectangles, rectangles. Get my shapes right. So this video is already up, and then I show you all of them, all of the rectangles when they were still on the thing. But this one, we're just going to use them all because I told you I would try to get them up so you could see them on my blog. And then when I went to my girlfriend's house, I just ran them all through. And I just ran them through on some coordinating colors, which is so I grabbed one of our old packs when we used to have neutral packs, and I just went with that. So we're gonna do that. So you can see them here. Gonna use them all, every last rectangle that comes in this pack, and you're gonna see why I say that even if you don't get the stamps, but of course if you get the bundle, you get a discount. Even if you don't get the stamps, you're gonna want all these. So I'm gonna run them through a couple at a time. When we get towards the end, they'll just be, you don't want to do them speed bump. So put them on here. And as we run them through, I'll show you what they do because they all do a little bit of a different thing. So we've got these. I'm using sand and black. So it's a real neutral color scheme. You might think, oh, this would be a good card for a guy. And it kind of could, which was a little bit my thought, but you know, they're scallopy. So you could probably make it work with some of them and leave some of the more obvious scallops off. As soon as I get ready to film, the lawn service people came to the house, like 3 across. They're kind of far away, but they're loud. So here's this tiny one. Here, I'll hold them up against this. So it's got a nice frame, and then it does all these little polka dots. So that's that one. And then this is my favorite. I guess I need a piece of, here, let me grab this. So look what this one does. It has these, right here it's notched. So we have 2 short strips and then 1 long. So you can put ribbon through it or pop it up or slide another piece of cardstock. Like if you have this is too big, but you can see what you could do where you could put your words through there. And then these right here are shorter because they're notched right here. So there's 2 short ones. So you can put ribbon through it. That's my favorite one because it's just different. And you know, I like different. When you've been doing this for as long as I have, anytime they give us something different, you gotta like it. Here's 2 more. All these are in the same set, and it does come with the stamp set if you get it in the bundle. Let's see if I can get both of these on here. Yep, and you just don't want them to go straight through because it's not good for the dies or for your machine. If you're hearing that kerplunking when you're rolling it through, not good. And also, I have a giveaway in May. It's coming up fairly soon. Well, the last day to be entered for all of it. I also have to get the Try It class registration up for that because registering for that is one of the ways that you can be entered to win. So you know, when I do that, then you better have people able to register for the class, right? So here's this one. And this one is scallops, and it's got, oh, where'd I put it? Here we go. It's got super close, it looks like stitching along it all. This is why you need new plates sometimes, because your plates get yucky. So it's really, I'll take some close-up pictures and put it on my website so you can see them all up close. So now we've got that one. Must-have set, because even if you don't use it, you'll find yourself reaching for it all the time. It's one of the ones that I don't keep over on my boards. I will keep this one on my paper stand where I have a giant rolly paper stand and I put magnets on the side. And this is kind of the same. This one has tiny little dots. This one has much longer like stitch lines. And then this is the one you've already seen me use. You can only get it one at a time. It's almost a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. And this one's just pretty. And this one is really the one that kind of takes it where it can't really be a masculine card because it's lacy scallops. And don't you love, I'm not popping anything out. Like, it's just going through one roll and everything's coming out perfect. Like, look, there it is. And you don't have to punch anything out. So there's all of our frames. It also comes with a scallop border that I haven't used yet. And then the flowers, the 2 framelits that cut out the flowers. So now I need some scrap paper, and I moved everything out of the way because of my retreat. Let me see. There's some notes from my retreat. We'll just go with that. And then I have double mounted these with retreat sets. So just ignore the other side. This is the big flower that comes in the set. And most of it's going to get lost. I just want to add a little bit of interest around the edges. And you're not going to see much of this at all. So, you know, normally when you're like turn and get some different patterns, none of that really matters. And this is literally on the back of a stamp. In my retreat, we're doing all kinds of dirty techniques. My hands were a hot mess yesterday when I finished filming. And this block is kind of a hot mess. I should have cleaned it off before I put this on the back of it. So now we've just got that kind of filled up. And then obviously we're going to put a black one on here. So see what I mean? It doesn't show a lot. It just gives it a little bit of interest. And then this one, there's some dots. Did I pull those out? Yes, they're here. The dots come in the set. Those of you that are doing the retreat, you'll use a ton of scrap paper. You're going to use so much scrap paper. You will need it. And so somewhere I have my whole giant block, but because I just squished everything out of the way and we're using a lot of embossing powder, so my table was dusty. So before I could do this, I just cleaned everything off. I didn't think about keeping the stuff here that we would need. So there's the little dots. So now we have this. And then this will go here because they all just layer. Obviously, you don't have to stick them all on one card. I just wanted you to see them all. And then there's several sentiments with a great font in this stamp set. So I went with the You're Absolutely Amazing. Oh, that's crooked. So we're gonna flip it over. This may be crooked too. That's not too bad. So we've got that one. And that will go there. And then it has a little rosebud. This doesn't have a die. And funny story, I finally got my catalog out because I was looking everywhere to see where I misplaced the die. Because I'm like, where did I put that? And then I thought it had gotten mixed in because for retreat, we're using the brushed blooms and the pretty perennials. And I'm like, well, it must have gotten stuck in with all of these. There's no die for it. So I hadn't misplaced it. There's just not one. So I'm going to stamp 2 of these little blooms. And then this is I Love Twine. If you follow me, you know I use our twine all the time. We're using it in retreat. So here's our twine as it stands, which is still in the catalog. It's a totally different color than these. These are the new ones, and they are part of, it's called Baker's Twine Essentials. I think it's in with the new tree suite, which I don't know what it's called. But you can see this is totally different. Let me pull them out, because this is the one I'm going to use, which is much more a crumb cake. They probably do have colors, and I don't know what they are. But here's the one that you get still on its own, and this is the one that comes in the pack. And then there's black, and there's vanilla, and there's white, and then there's it looks like granite. So here's the normal one, and you can see it's not any of those. Before anybody says that they don't want 2 of the same one, because I use this all the time and it's being used to retreat. That's why it's laying here. So I'm going to take this one. Actually, I used this one before. Let's go with a different color. Let's do this vanilla, and then you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So what I did was I took my adhesive, again, moved everything. I'm going to use my Seal Plus, because that's what we're using at retreat, because when you're using a lot of embossing, you need that extra. So I put a little bit of adhesive on the back, and then we'll hope that this is a good amount. And then you see how this just lifts up. So just lift this up. If you don't like to tie ribbons, this little scallop frame is going to be your friend, because you're going to be able to do all kinds of fun threading loops of ribbon through and never have to tie a bow. And it'll give you all kinds of interesting looks. We have a really pretty new gray ribbon that's super wide, and it threads through here. Because when I first did it, if I had used gray cardstock, I might have put it on here. But I didn't use gray cardstock, and it was too gray for this card. You know, sometimes you're like, I can make this work. If you watched my other one where I thought I was using fresh freesia because of our new fresh freesia ribbon, and then when I pulled the ribbon out of the box because I didn't have it on my table, and I found out that it was Highland Heather, those colors coordinated. This didn't coordinate very well. Oh, look at that. I did pretty good on guesstimating the amount. Because as demonstrators, we can pre-order, and if you would like to join my team, then you get to do the retreat videos for free. You get the Try It Club. You get the actual Try It Club class for free, because the demonstrators on my team get all that stuff for free. And you can put this step in your pre-order. So you're just going to stick this in here. But we can only order one of a lot of things. So like just one of these. So I have to make it last until we can order 2 from the catalog. So isn't that pretty? Yeah, you can see this a little bit better than the crumb cake. I think that's what color it is. We're just gonna say it for now and then we'll. So now I'm gonna mount these together and I am going to color them a little bit. This is overkill, you don't need Seal Plus, but because it's what's laying here, that's what I'm gonna use. So get it straight. I'm kind of turned into a lazy adherer because the regular seal, if you get it crooked, you can move it. Not so much with this one. If you want if you press it, once it's on, it's on. And then I'm gonna go to some dimensionals. Oh, and those are tiny. Don't want tiny. These are to the end, so you know when you get to the end, the best part is this. Especially on this, because now I can stick that right over all of those and make sure they're nice and secure on here. Here's the lawn, which is it's a tad annoying, except that it means it's warm out and I have my windows open and that they can cut the lawn. Yeah, this is right side, so you get that pretty little frame, but that's way crooked. So we're gonna go wrong side and lose the pretty little markings. I will show you on the one where I had my head over the top of my stamps and I stamped straight. I like to use every last edge of my dimensionals. None of it is going in the trash. So these up here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and stick it all to my card. Again, if you're using Seal Plus, it doesn't take much. That's gonna hold it to the card, don't waste it. So that's all on there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out. And I'll fast forward this part of the video because nobody wants to watch me cut. Okay, so I cut both of those out. I'm just gonna take, this is way overkill, but again, it's what's laying here. I'm gonna just stick these under here. And you can see if you aren't familiar with Seal Plus or you use it and you're like, what do I do with that? If you see it, it's got like each one is its own little strip, so it folds over really nicely. So just fold it till it's behind what you want it to be behind. Now I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. I'm gonna paint these in. And on this sand cardstock, it kind of darkens it up where it has the Wink of Stella. And then I'm gonna take it around to the edge of this black. This is why I wanted to have it all mounted together before I did this, because not all of it needs to be painted. And this way I won't waste my Wink of Stella by painting stuff that's gonna get covered up. Because sometimes it's really fun to paint this glitter on. Funny story, we're using spritzers because we're doing some tie-dye stuff and making our own backgrounds in the retreat. And you know, I was Shimmer Paint's biggest fan, and I was really, really sorry to see that it made its way to the last chance list. I'm gonna add some to these scallops, just a little bit. So I did a couple of cards and I used it, and I'm like, I have to stop because I don't know at what point it's going to sell out, and it's on clearance. It's on the, it's reduced, heavily reduced. So I know there's a potential that it could sell out. So I don't want to keep using it and then somebody stumble upon my video and be super disappointed that they didn't get it. So when it was first on the clearance list, I did a couple of videos. I used it a couple of different ways, and then I just took it away from my stuff. And then as I've been moving things, I realized I have quite a stash. So either I hold on to it in desperate hope that Stampin' Up! Eventually brings it back, like in a mini catalog at Christmas time or something, or I give it away as some prizes, but I have a lot of it. But when I was squirting the cardstock for my tie-dye, I put some water in an empty spritzer that was just sitting on my table, and I spritzed. And I thought the thing was all the way clean. It looked like a clean, brand new spritzer. Because, you know, if you wash them out, they just look new. But it came out shimmery. It was just, it was happy because it looked beautiful, but it was also a little bit of sad. So if you're doing the retreat, or if you just love shimmer as much as I do, in fact, I just put a little picture on my Instagram of just the pretty shimmer that just literally what was left in a clean tube that had stuck apparently to the side. Just what that little bit of shimmer paint can do to bring a smile to your face. So even when I thought that I had removed all traces of shimmer from me being able to use it, so if you're in the retreat and you want to get some on an order, because you can always add it to what we'll be doing, even if it's not intentionally. So here it is now, and you can see on this black and on that, it just adds just that little bit of sparkle. It's very cloudy. It's very warm here today, but very cloudy. Now I'm going to use these Genial Gems. They are, I think they're the same. I need to go get mine out because they returned, or they're returning, I can't remember. The Wonderful Gems that were in the holiday catalog last year. I'm gonna use their, maybe these are succulent and maybe these are papaya, or maybe not. Again, you know, when you get the stuff from the pre-order, you just order it. And I haven't really gone back to look. Once this is all like real stuff, and once, if you do the Try It Club, then we go into detail what it all is, because then I actually look it up. So I'm going to use 3 of these, which again, extravagant because we can't order very many of any of these, but I'm not doing them in a class, so not yet. So there's 2 different sizes, so I'll use 2 of the big ones. And then 1 little one, just to have that little bit of shimmer. So there's that. Here it is with a poorly stamped sentiment. Nobody would know except, you know, and that's the thing. If you make a mistake, just turn it over and go on. I could have run another one through so the line was a little bit more pronounced. You're the only one that's going to know it. Unless you're giving it to, you know, your best friend who you think stamps better than you. But even then, she's not going to notice it. Just turn it over and keep going. But here it is with the vanilla ribbon. Here it is. I guess I put 2. I did put the black and the crumb cake colored. So those frames, I tell you what, you're gonna have to get them. They're gonna have to be in your first order. And if you're one of my customers and you're wondering if they'll be part of the class, they won't. I'm not gonna make you wait for summer retreat or a class or anything, just because I think they're staples. And I know some of you won't want the flowers. You'll just want the actual rectangles. So you can go ahead and put those on your first order for your wish list. And that's what I have. I'm going to edit this, work on the Try It class, and then get back to filming the last few things of retreat, and then move on to either cutting paper or catalogs, or I don't know. I have so many things to do. I have a wish list a mile long. So everybody have a great day. I hope it's warm and sunny and beautiful where you are. Bye.